You know, one morning, the pastor noticed a young man standing at the back of his church, and he was staring at a plaque that was there on the wall with a list of names. And the little boy just stared at him. He didn't seem to budge a bit. And he just, as the pastor greeted people and talked to people, he noticed this little boy just wasn't moving. Just wasn't moving. So he finally worked his way back there, and he said, "How you doing today?" He said, "I'm fine." He said, "There's something in it." He said, "Yeah." He said, what is it?" He said, what is this plaque?" He said, "Well, son," he said, that's to remember all the people who died in service." And he said, "Oh." He said, "Was it the 9 o'clock or the 11 o'clock service?" Now, I know sometimes church can seem like that, can't it? Oh, the church is a place we go is meant more than to be survived, right? It's not. The goal isn't to survive church. The goal is to go to church and worship. But sometimes I wonder if we lose focus on why we're really here. You know, we get here and we start off and we're good and we're singing, or some of us are singing and some of us are lip syncing, and so. But anyway, we're trying, and then we get through the call to worship, and somewhere in there, a lot of times what we do is we take what we call a little vacation. You know what I'm saying? Don't act like you don't know what I'm saying. Some of you are doing it right now. But we take a little vacation, our mind starts to wander. We start thinking about, we race on out to the week ahead. What's going on? I got all this stuff coming on. I got to be at this job tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I got the kids' clothes laid out. Or I got to do this. Or we start putting our grocery list together. See, there's hamburger, and we need some chicken, and we're going to have lasagna on Thursday. And you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, we've all been there. We've all been there. I'm not going to act innocent. I do that sometimes too, which is bad because I'm the one giving the message. But I can tell I don't put my grocery list together when I preach to you. I can promise you that. Okay. So from that standpoint, but we all, but I have sat in the pew. I have sat in the pew for many years, and I can tell you I've been there, and my mind has wandered. Sometimes we just, I don't know, for whatever reason, we just go on vacation. We just check out for a little bit. And then we come back in like, well, what was he saying? What did we miss? What did we miss? And we wonder, we leave church and we can't recall what hymn we sung, or we can't recall what the message was about, or we can't recall anything about church except for Sally had on a nice dress, or something like that. Or did you see that tie Bill was wearing? Or, that's the only thing we can really remember about church. And it's those days that, that I found myself saying, I said, why do I even come here? Why do I even go to church? That's a good question, isn't it? Why do we even go to church? Well, we're going to explore that a little bit. And maybe I can't say why you're here. I don't know. I think everybody comes for a different reason. I said at the beginning, some of you had a good week and you're here. Some of you had a bad week and you're here. But regardless, you're here. And I think we're going to explore that a little bit. And I'm not here to say whether you're here for the right reason or the wrong reason. That's up to you to decide. Right? That's between you and God. But all I'm going to do is put something out there for us to reflect on a little bit. Talk about a little bit. As we get into this reviewing this scripture reading that was out there, that we put out there from Isaiah. About, paying lip service, but not really being close to God with our heart. So I guess we're going to do a little heart checkup, and I know what you're thinking. Like, Pastor, I trust you to preach, but I don't know if you're a heart specialist. And you're right, but I did stay at Holiday Inn Express a couple times, so I have a little bit of experience in that. So the heart review's up for you, but I just want you to contemplate a little bit. Let's talk about, what was written here. Now, I think it's important that we know a little bit of history, where we're at in history of Israel. And I know some of you right now, you just checked out. You said, all right, now it's time for the grocery list. He's going to make history. And some of you are going, history, I like it. For those of you who like history, I'm going to keep it short. For those of you who don't like history, I'm going to keep it short. Okay? So to give you a little history about where we're at with the Israelites. Okay? And we all know that Moses brought the Israelites out of captivity, right? From Egypt. They spent 40 years in the desert. They crossed over to the promised land. They've settled there. They wanted to have a king, because everybody else had a king, so they wanted a king. So God said, you want a king? He said, yeah, we want a king, we want a king. So, okay, I'll give you a king. And he gives them Saul, who's followed by David, who's followed by Solomon. Things are going pretty good, right, for the Israelites. Well, Solomon had a lot of, he was ambitious. He had a lot of building projects, so he taxed the people heavily. He worked them very hard, and then he passed. And his son, Rehoboam, took over. And the people came to Rehoboam and said, look, your dad kind of taxed us heavy, he kind of worked us hard. Can you only ease up a little bit on us? Can you give us a break? And he sought advice from people, and they gave him advice, and he didn't like that advice, so he got some new advice. And he didn't like that either. So he went to the people and said, no, I'm not going to ease up on you. He said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it 4 times harder on you than what you have experienced in the past. He said, not only am I not going to ease up, I'm going to quadruple your burden. Well, 10 of the 12 tribes, we had 12 tribes from Jacob, right? Each one was son of Jacob. 10 of the 12 tribes then said, we're out. I'm out of here. And so they go, those are the northern tribes. And the other 2 tribes, the southern tribes, say, we'll stay. Now, this is where things start to go south. Not south literally, but they start to go bad. Now, the northern tribes, they start to move away from God. Not a good thing. You never want to be in that boat. You never want to be moving away from God. That's what they tended to be, even though they were warned not to. They were. And they lasted about 200 years, about 927 BC. They were taken over by the Assyrians. Didn't end well for them. Right? That's what happens when we work for God. Well, you say, well, the South must have done better. Yeah, no, not really. About another 135 years later, the Babylonians come and take them for the same reason. They kind of moved away from God. Right? But they eventually are restored, and they come back to Israel, and things start good. But it's the history of the Israelites, or of the God's people, is a history, and you'll see this throughout the Old Testament, of moving away from God, bad things happen, and they move back to God. In the midst of all this, Isaiah, who's a prophet, is sent to them to tell them they need to move back to God. Right? And and Isaiah came to them and told them, saying, what you're doing is not pleasing to God. You're not worshiping God. And I bet if you went to those people and said, well, we're doing what we got to do. We go to the synagogues, on the Sabbath, and we read the scriptures, and we do the sacrifices that are required by Jewish law. We're doing all that we can do. What do you want from us? What do you want from us? Kind of like, what if Isaiah came in here today? He'd be very old. But what if he came in here today? And he said, you're moving away from God. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You need to move back towards God. Said, what? We're in church. We go to church every Sunday. Sunday school. We go to Sunday school. We go to church. We put money in the plate. We sing. We read. What do you want? We pray. What do you want from us? What do you want us to do? It's a good question, isn't it? What do you want? Where are we supposed to go? Well, there's a story. Let me help explain it. There's a story of this small village in Spain that got word that the king was coming to visit. And it was a poor community. And they didn't have much to offer, but they were so excited the king was coming. And they wanted to do something special for the king. They wanted to really honor him, to show him how much they loved him and how much they honored him. So what they decided, their specialty was their wine. Each household had their own wine, but it was a very good wine. They were very good winemakers. So what they decided was each household would bring a cup of their finest wine. And they would pour it into a barrel. And then when the king would come, they would serve it to the king, and he would get to taste the finest of the finest wine. Well, the day came that the king was coming, the morning of the king was coming, and everyone brought their cup, and they poured it in the barrel. And that day when the king arrived, he was escorted to the town square, and they said, "We want you to taste our wine. It's the finest we have to offer you, to show you how much that we love you and we admire you." And he was given a silver chalice. And he walked over to that. Actually, he sent someone, because he's the king. He sent somebody over, they got the cup, they brought it to the king, and he tasted the wine. But strangely, it tasted just like water. What had happened? Was it a miracle? Had somebody changed the wine into water? No, that's the water into wine. That's a miracle in the New Testament. No, that hadn't happened. Had somebody stolen the wine? No. Come to find out that each family had decided that, there's going to be so many other good wines that mine surely won't be missed. So instead of sacrificing a glass of my wine, what I'll do is put a glass of water in. And so all that was there was the water. And the king left there feeling the love and admiration of the people that was not there. They weren't willing to make a sacrifice for him, were they? They had all gone through the motions of worship, of showing him their love and admiration, but yet they had given nothing. That's kind of what he's talking about here. Going through the motions. And how often do we do that? How often do we show up to church and go through the motions? How often do we leave church and not even know what we've read? Earlier we read Affirmation of Faith. Can you tell me what we said? Billy probably can't because he wrote it. He put it in the bulletin. But something beyond that. Did you think about the words you were saying, or were they just words that we said? How about the call to worship? We read through that. Did you think about what was being read, or what we were saying, or was it just words that we were reading? When you sang the hymn, "O Worship the King," did you think about the words? Did you sing it all? Did you think about what you were singing? Or again, was it words that we were just parroting? We can teach a parrot to parrot anything, to just say anything, but there's no meaning there, right? They're just parroting it. I don't have to tell you when to rise or to sit in this church. You've been coming here long enough, you know when to rise and sit. It takes all the fun out of being up here, Most of the time I say sit down, y'all like, on our time. When we're ready, if you get up, you're like, in a minute, don't rush us. But you know all the rituals of this church, right? You know all the things you're supposed to do. You come in, we're going to have an order of our service. It's the same every week, right? We do the same thing every week. But worship service isn't about doing the same thing every week. It's not about the words we say, because we can teach a parrot to say those words. It's not about the things we do, because we can teach a monkey to do those things. What God's concerned is what's here. Did you come to worship me? Because that's why we call it a worship service, right? Now we're supposed to come here with our hearts to worship. To be in close relationship with our God. The God who loves us. Right? Our actions are supposed to mirror what we say, not contradict them. God's not concerned with your words. He's not concerned with your rituals. What He's concerned with is your heart. Love the Lord your God with all your rituals, with all your words, with all your heart, and mind, soul. He wants all of you, right? He wants something that's all in. He wants you totally committed. Are you totally committed to Him? He's totally committed to you. fair relationship would be total commitment for you as well, right? Do we recognize our place? Do we recognize that we're not the God? We're God's children, who He loves very much. We're not God's equal. Never have been. Never will be. Right? He's God. We're His creation. Sometimes we act like we're in charge of God. And we're supposed to, it's kind of like a parent. You ever seen a parent and a child in that relationship? You know? Where the parent tells the child what to do? I mean, how do I say? I get so confused with these things. The child's telling the parent what to do. You ever seen it like that? That don't ever work out well, right? The parent does it. You know, when the child's in charge of the parent, that never works out well. You don't want that in the situation. That's not the way the situation was meant to be. Right? God's in charge. And He wants more than just your words. Anybody can say words, right? You can tell me anything you want me to hear. You can sit and say, man, that's a nice head of hair on your head. You got some good looking hair, Kenny. Really? Yeah, I do. No. You know, you can say whatever you want. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a little example. Let's say you're married. Let's just say you're married. And you think your wife's cheating on you. Right? So you say, hire me a private investigator. I'm going to have her followed. See if she's cheating on me or not. So you go out and you find you the best private eye. And he follows her around for a few weeks. And he comes in on a Friday afternoon, calls you into his office. He said, got some bad news for you. Sure enough, she's been beating this fella 3 times a week up at the local hotel. She's been running around on you. Well, that's not good news. That's not good news. Are you sure? Yeah, I got